and I can see. Hello and welcome to the Slackware ARM vlog. This is episode 31 of season 3, or series 3 as we'd call it in the United Kingdom. How long can I go on like that? So yes, welcome to the vlog. In this episode we've got Brent, and he is going to be reinstalling Slackware on his HoneyComb LX2 with the express intention of testing or validating really that the new firmware flashing tool or firmware management tool that I've written works within the installer. I already know it works in the OS because I've run it on my Rock Pro 64, and Brent's also run it on the HoneyComb, but we just haven't tested it in the installer. And this is, I think, the final, apart from a bit of documentation and some other stuff, this is the final technical component that needs to be validated before I can sort of declare that it works. At the moment, Brent's installing the Slackware installer, or rather copying the Slackware installer onto his SD card so he can boot the HoneyComb and into the installer. And I was just saying that you needed to make sure that in your Slackware tree you've downloaded the latest update, which was from Tuesday the 28th, because I've added the package into the tree now. So you don't need the latest installer, you just need the tree that has that.
I have it with the latest stuff.
Okay, cool. So in that case, it'll get installed when you do a full install, so you won't need to pause the installer and install it. I don't know if you've seen before, but there's these tag files which are used for the installer, and in the ARM tree they have the additions that are in Slackware ARM over x86, and whilst I'd added this into it for that to basically make the package appear in the menu choices, I'd forgotten to add it into the tag file, which actually declares the tag file which declares what to do with the packages. So in this case, it wasn't in here, so I've added it in here with the default option or the default action of add. So I don't know when I did that, but I think it's probably, maybe I did it on for the Tuesday push. I think I did. I don't know. Have a look anyway. Well, we can. It's fine. So have you got the installer? We'll deal with that once you've booted the installer. What I've done here as well, Brent, this isn't pushed out publicly yet, but it will probably this week, maybe. So I've patched the grub mk config just to make it. I don't know if I've got it. I don't think it's installed. Maybe it's not. Actually, I think I changed it already. Did I? Oh, yeah. So when you, I was fiddling around with it. So when you run this now, it will error out. Yeah, there we go. Because yeah, I looked at the output that this thing makes, and yeah, it wouldn't work at all. So
it's a big cluster of stuff.
Yeah, if you do this, so I've allowed people to override it, because I think that's really the Slackware way. If someone might find it useful for something, but if you look at what it produces, like, it just wouldn't work at all, because like this is wrong anyway. That should be /boot, and then
yeah, it doesn't work at all on ARM. I use it all the time on my x86, but it doesn't pick up the right files on ARM.
And we don't need it anyway.
No.
So yeah, and if you look at, well, I don't have a grub config on this machine because it doesn't use grub, but yeah, the one in the installer is fine.
Okay, let me jump into the other room and I'll start up the SD card.
Okay. Oh, I forgot you need to touch the oh yeah, if you SSH into it, oh, that'll do. Then you can just touch that file just in case.
Directory? Oh, it just okay.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. Whenever I would reinstall Slackware on a box where I wasn't formatting everything, like I was retaining the user data, I'd always like quadruple check. You know, like is it really?
I've just done it so many times. I'm like, I don't even check. I'm like, screw it. That's what backups are for.
Right. Okay. So awesome.
Okay, pre-mounted directory. My hands aren't working. It's too early.
Yeah, mine are a bit cold. Okay, yeah, just install everything.
Okay.
Oh, they will. Yeah. Cool. While you're there, so whilst that installs, that'll take well a while.
Once it gets going, it'll go quick.
Can you go back to the other shell you've got open? Yeah. So what's in /dev with the RTC? Oh, not a lot. Okay. RS, there is no. Oh, okay. It's symlinked. What's it symlinked? Oh, probably RTCs. So if you do HW clock -R, what does that say? Because that's what the installer uses.
Capital R?
No, it's lowercase. Ah. Okay.
But the date's set, so.
Waiting for
the day off. It's 1 day off.
Oh no, but that's delivery. It's 1 day off because the installer does that. It sets the time 1 day in the past to avoid time zone issues where something's been something in a package is installed with an older task. I can't remember now. There's a thing called fake date in there, but it's basically to avoid messages from FSCK about file systems being older, being mounted in the future, or something like that.
Oh yeah, or like if a package is installed.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember. I think, yeah, it was just to do with the time zone that was set when it booted or something. I can't remember what that does now. But that shouldn't HW clock -R. Okay, try it again. HW clock.
Yeah.
That's going to fail, isn't it? Timed out waiting for time change. Because that's how it uses. So that must return a an exit code greater than 1.
Yeah, it sees an RTC, but.
Okay, hang on, let me have a look.
RTC1.
What?
Do you want to shell the login? Actually, it won't work because all the firewall rules are gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. No, it's just so that's registered as RTC1. But you don't need to keep going back to that because what the installer will pause when it's finished anyway.
Yeah.
So just curious so if I do, so I'd quite like to fix that. So if you do just looking at the help for RTC clock or HW clock rather.
Oh.
Dash. What if you do -RF/dev/RTC1? Oh no, yours is RTC0. Oh no, yeah, try RTC1. No, RF.
Oh.
Oh, hold on. No, wait a minute. RTC. Yeah, F. Yeah. Same thing. Okay.
I don't know. Something strange because it works when I'm. But I always leave NTB running anyway, so.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Let me have a look. Can you try hardware? Just make it so that it's just dash direct. Oh, that can't be right. That says direct ISO. I'm just looking in etc rc.d/rc.s in the Slackware OS because it has some clock options, but it's got the only option it has is direct ISA, but like ISA is like Stone Age, isn't it? Unless it means something else.
Yeah.
And it's not the ISA I'm thinking of from like 1990 or something. Or
well,
earlier.
that's before I had any clue about that stuff.
Oh yeah, ISA. There's like the huge card. Well, they can have huge ones these days as well, but the ISA was the predecessor to PCI. So, and the direct ISA option. Okay, I can't imagine that's what it is. Oh, so I'll try it anyway. It works. So just put -r space dash direct ISA. Just out of interest, see if it works. No, there's no space.
ISA.
There's no space. Direct ISA. Yeah, like that. Oh, that's not going to work either. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, once the iOS is installed, we'll have a look. Maybe it works in there and it's something else that it needs. I don't know.
Yeah, because it picks it up, so it must be there. This is an exciting recording.
Oh, it's fascinating. People are going to love it. They're going to click like. Everyone is going to click.
They're going to just keep subscribing.
And they're going to exactly. And I'm going to write in the comments how much they loved it.
How much of a moron we are.
All you guys did was type HW clock. If you don't want to know about that, I don't want to know about HW clock.
Yeah. You're running the installer and you're messing with the RTC.
Has it always done that in the installer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It usually works, doesn't complain about the time, and then when I reboot, NTPD just keeps it up to date.
Okay. The only message I'm finding is so I put into Google that HW clock timed out with that message. Guess which hardware model people have problems with.
What?
Begins. It's my most. It's a Pi that happens to have a made of a fruit that I really don't like.
That's funny.
Oh, actually, no, hang on. What am I talking about? I actually do like raspberries. It's what's the other red one? Cherries. I can't stand them. Cherries. So yeah, people have problems with their Raspberry Pi. No surprise. No surprise.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't just ship it with an RTC by default.
I don't know. They're not exactly expensive, an expensive edition, are they? I mean, surely.
No. I don't think they even sell an RTC on the Raspberry Pi site. You have to buy it elsewhere.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. I bought mine from elsewhere.
Yeah. Which is strange, because it'll complain about the time all the time. So.
Okay. Okay. TC. Can you do less /proc/interrupts? And then look for RTC in caps. Probably be okay. Or maybe look for it not in caps. It's in caps on my. Okay, we'll have a look at that then. It could just be that there's some driver isn't loaded. That's probably my guess. Although I think the installer captures all of the available RTCs actually. Have a look at that. Yeah, it does. So it should work. Oh well, we'll look into that. It's not a big deal. Okay. How's the installer doing?
Let's see. It's pretty far. KD.
Okay.
Kind of just blasts through everything compared to like the Rock Pro.
No, I'm looking forward to getting mine. I want to see it in all of its glory.
Yeah. I saw on that website that you linked to me. It has another one that is at 2.2 gigahertz processing speed, but it's the clear fog model.
Ah.
I think they have a little bit faster CPU, but they have less I/O ports. So.
Okay.
It's like the newer model.
Okay, I'll get the same one as you've got, really, because then we know that it works.
Yeah.
Well, be curious. I'm curious to know if it doesn't or if it does. Although, no, yeah, because everything that I've got so far is all for the HoneyComb LX2, not the clear fog. Well, is the clear fog model also LX2? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, LX2K. I think it's like. I don't know. I forget what the model is, but it's one bump up.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't know whether the firmware, whether it would need the same firmware.
I think it's an LX2160. No, LX2162A is what it is, instead of a 0A.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's slightly different.
All right. Yeah, I'll get the same one as you've got then. It's fine. I'm not gonna. The whole point was to do this work, get it working, so I can just get one and then just install it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you
Anyway.
can see it without my silly fat fingers. It's pretty easy to install it. It's almost just like installing a regular like x86. You know. So.
Well, that is the point. It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be the same as x86 in most cases.
Yeah, I just have a funky setup on my network. So.
Okay, I'll have to look into that. Why that times out then.
Maybe someday I'll figure out why the I2C interface doesn't work with the fan, and I can finally sit at my desk again.
What's that? Oh, what's that, to control the speed or something?
Yeah, to throttle the fan better. Right now it just runs at max. The little CPU fan on the heatsink. I mean, it fluctuates a little bit, but it's always above like 9,000 RPMs at all times.
Oh God, okay.
Yeah, so it's like a little lawnmower running next to me if I sit at my desk.
Yeah, so I haven't ordered a new fan for mine. Oh, well, mind you, I haven't ordered the board either yet. But I probably do need to order a more quiet fan, apparently.
Yeah.
But
some people replace the heatsink with a different type. I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to be really quiet.
Okay. Did you put links for that in the install guide for the other fans?
No, I haven't. But it's probably mentioned in that GitHub repo.
I think it is. Yeah, I did see one mentioned. Okay, I'll have a look.
It lists a few different ones and like with a screenshot of it. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's
I'll
kind
get
of
one of
cool
those.
that GitHub repo, everyone just put all the stuff in it. Everyone can just like reference it.
Yeah, yeah, it is. So I'll get one. I'll just get the standard fan that comes with it, and if I find it's too annoying, then I'll get one. But given that I won't be sitting anywhere near it, I'm probably not that bothered. It can't be louder than a Dell PowerEdge
I'm
servo.
about ready to move it into the closet downstairs, which is nice and cool and quiet. Just close the closet door, leave it in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I do, more or less.
Yeah. It's just that this house is not wired for Ethernet, so it's like, oh crap, I gotta do it over Wi-Fi. So I don't know, but
Oh yeah, when I had our house renovated, I've got the whole place is flood wired. Like every room has, apart from the bathroom, of course, has Ethernet in
right.
it. Oh, and the kitchen, that doesn't have Ethernet in it either.
You're
Although
gonna do power over Ethernet for your toothbrush.
the charge for toothbrush over Ethernet.
Yeah. Submit the plans for it to Pine64 and they'll make a open source toothbrush.
Yeah, mate. Well, they can give me a new motherboard for my Pine 64 for my Pinebook Pro first.
Yeah.
I did chase them up actually, and I haven't got a response. I'll have to chase them again, I guess.
Yeah.
Particularly once we upgrade to the new Linux 2 6.2 kernel, because I will want to test it on there. For the moment, though, it doesn't really matter because I've got other things to do anyway.
I
Like
need to
watch.
order the CPU paste and then the little rubber feet for the bottom of the Pinebook Pro from my old one, and it will be just fine again. But I don't know. It was an open box when I got it, so I was expecting it to not last as long as it did.
I'm going to have to do some editing in this one.
Yeah, it's just a long deal.
I really hope this works, Brent, in the installer, because if it doesn't, I'm not going to be very happy.
Oh, it's gonna work. Everything just works.
Oh, yeah. In the
Just
end.
take a screenshot of the one that we ran within the OS, and then we'll just edit it in.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it works or not.
Yeah.
It's just about the optics. It's all about
The
the
people
tech.
are like, "Oh, it doesn't work. It works for us."
It does on my screen. Don't watch the video, you'll see for yourself.
Yeah, right.
No, I've had enough of writing code. I don't want to do any more code.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I going to do now? Am I going to get another computer, or am I going to do something else? So I have to like figure out, maybe I'll just start building massive amounts of packages and sharing them or whatever, but gonna have a lot of free time not working on the HoneyComb.
Yeah, there's always things to do. It's
Yeah.
always things to do. For example, I was thinking of moving the U-boot hackery that's for the Raspberry Pi into the new U-boot configuration tool in the installer. I thought, oh yeah, I could put that in there. It's just a case statement, setting a function, and yeah, I could do that.
Yeah.
And then I thought, oh, I could just leave it and not do that. I can always.
I saw this guy online. He was using his Raspberry Pi to offload the memory usage for Firefox, and then he was opening it over a forwarded X session to his Pinebook Pro, so he didn't have to worry about all the memory being eaten up on his Pinebook Pro. Some guy on YouTube did that. I was like, okay. And so I almost bought another Raspberry Pi 4, but then I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna torture myself with that. So
Interesting. Well, yeah, I suppose because it only has 4 gigs, doesn't it? The Pinebook Pro. So
yeah,
for web browsing, I mean, you can easily use a lot of RAM very quickly with a browser. Incredibly RAM hungry.
yeah, I have it using a swap in ZRAM, and it seems to keep it from going to swap on disk, but I don't know. You have to open a lot of tabs to crash it.
I'm watching a squirrel eat something out of the frying pan that my kids have left in their now disintegrating kitchen that lives in the garden. One of those play kitchens. There's a saucepan from the house there, which has been there for ages, an old one, and it's just sitting on there. I guess it's drinking. Maybe it's drinking from there.
It's a bird bath.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Yeah, it's not quite as bad as like watching paint dry, but it still takes well.
I think watching paint dry is actually better because you don't need to think about, particularly in my case, think about whether the thing will work or not. And if it doesn't, whereas when you're drying paint, watching paint dry, it's just going to dry.
Yeah. It's not going to change.
No, it's just going to dry. And that's that. unless you've got loads of humidity in the area, in which case it won't, but eventually it will. I'm sure
it's kind of like just zone out looking at the paint, relax.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah. I always find it surprising when people tell me they get bored. I'm like, I actually don't know how to be bored.
No, I don't either. I always do something to keep myself occupied.
Yeah, I haven't been bored since I was a kid. Okay, so what we can do is just to make sure that the if you go to the other shell, let's just make sure that that package is installed. Otherwise, we're going to have wasted our time completely.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's in /mnt, isn't it? And then what are we looking for again? Bootload's there. Okay, great. So in that case, go back. Okay, so just press resume then, and let's let it bootloader. Okay, that's grub, so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, coolio. Oh, of course, Brent. I also had some other thoughts about how to change or improve the flashing tool, because at the moment it doesn't tell you where. Well, it kind of indirectly does if you know what you're looking for, but it doesn't tell you what's where it got the information from about the profile. So I thought about perhaps including 2 lines saying, here's what I found on the SD card, here's what I found on the SPI, if anything, in both cases, because that might be quite useful. But okay, so but yeah, maybe
it is available.
Oh, is it? Hang on. So
why? I just looked at this the other day. It was at the well, let's see what happens. This looks just like it did the other day, so I don't know.
okay.
Hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, it should do. This is from the Rock Pro 64, all this code, so it should just work.
Yeah.
Why would it? It would only say it's available if the
checksum changed, right?
Yeah, exactly. The checksum changed, yeah.
I don't know. Worst case scenario, just reboot from the SD card with the firmware on it, which is not that big a deal.
Just trying to think why that would
Yeah, it's nice having that little switch. You can be like, okay, I messed up SPI flash. We'll switch it to boot from the SD card and just repair everything.
Yes, that is pretty useful. I remember in the olden days with the Shiva plugs, which was having the bootloader so precariously located in SPI flash was wasn't great. So I was always, because that was new to me at the time. I thought, what? So you can brick the device? Really? Okay.
You can, yeah.
News to me, and I thought, okay. So I was really cautious about everything because they were really
You
tricky.
have to break out the tweezers and short the flash chip, and
Oh, well, no, it was more difficult than that. Not on the Shiva plugs. You had to do you had to get out the JTAG cable and do other stuff which I didn't even own. So okay. So luckily I never actually bricked anything. Okay, that's great then. You know, yeah, let it continue. I'm just curious what it's going to do if you run it again once it's finished. So before it finishes, you can drop into a shell, and we'll see what happens when you run it again.
oh yeah, do that.
Because it should. I'm trying to look at I'm just looking at the code to.
Okay.
You can do bootloader flash. You can probably just run it like that, I think. Bootloader flash, and then you need to put what do you need to put after it? / MNT. Like that, I think. Yeah, that should do. Ah, okay.
Something strange is afoot.
NOR. Interesting. So it doesn't do it on mine. Okay. Well, that's fine. I can fix that when I get my own one. It's not a big deal. Certainly not going to fix it now. But so that should. Oh, it's not going to make any difference because the MNT just supplies the location. Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I'm running it from the root, so it's a different program.
It's not a different program. I take it, it's the same thing. There's only one version of that tool, and it's in /MNT. So
yeah.
I take the fact that it won't behave. So hang on, do put no. What? Why would it? That's interesting. Come out of the chroot. Do it again with
mount.
Yeah, because that's how it's called from within the installer. It's passed like that.
You didn't just download the firmware files recently, and there wasn't like an update or something?
No. Well, no, because it's showing you that it's saying that there's a newer version available. Inside here, but there isn't inside the chroot. So something is slightly different when
Maybe it's something to do with the time.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't care about the time. It only cares about checksums.
Be curious to see if it boots.
Yeah, it will.
I'm worried about it. Maybe I should flash it again from the chroot and then.
This is just a comparison check. It's something's different, but I can figure that out from the new installer. It's definitely picked the same things, right? You don't need to flash it again.
Oh.
You really don't. That's not going to make any difference at all. Just reboot it. It's fine. Is it configured to boot off SPI?
Let's see. I have to go in and configure the boot order is all, because the firmware was overwritten. So SPI flash doesn't have my settings in it. Does that make sense?
Not really. No. What do you mean?
On the Rock Pro, if you open up the console before you boot, and then you do like save whatever it is, you save config or whatever. You'll have your settings persist through reboot, but I haven't gotten that far on the HoneyComb. You have to do the same thing basically. It doesn't keep the same settings that I had on the boot order from before I reflashed it. I mean, does that make sense?
Where does it put what do you mean by the setting? You mean from the firmware? When it says
the firmware, it saves your settings the same way as like U-boot does. But if you overwrite SPI flash, the settings are gone. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right. No, that's not what I meant. I meant, so isn't it going to boot from SPI flash anyway, or is that?
The default is it boots from SD, then eMMC, and then whatever drives you have. But I just bumped the root disk up to the top of the list is all I do.
So, yeah, so when you reboot it now, though, is it going to boot the firmware from SPI flash or from SD card?
It'll use the SPI flash, but it will load the kernel from the SD card. Unless I go in and change it to use...
Oh, yeah, you'd have to go... Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's like a Big Mac version of the U-boot config.
Okay.
Okay,
all right.
I'll be right back. Let me do that.
If you run the bootloader flashing tool in here, I assume it would be the same. It probably says that it's already got the same most up-to-date version. sudo. Oh goodness.
Yes, I love it.
This makes me sick.
Go back from my Debian days.
I know everyone's see them typing sudo. I just think, oh no. Okay. Okay, cool. So there's just something weird within the installer then that I need to have a look at, but all the flashing works, so it's just a bit of logic, or it's probably a SPI. So that's retrieved from the SPI flash. And I thought also in the installer, it had also retrieved it from the SPI flash. So hang on, you've got 2007-32852 flex SPI nor. Okay, so yeah, so it's the same file name and everything. So it just thinks there's an update, but there isn't there. So yeah, there's probably just something really simple. But that's not a problem.
I was worried it wasn't going to work. That's why I wanted to reboot it.
No, I had no worries.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, I gotta turn it off.
I knew it would work. I knew it would work. Now it's just the reading. It's just I'm guessing there's some variable that's not quite set properly. So in the installer, it's looking at the wrong thing or something like that. I don't. It's probably got
the wrong length of an MD5 sum or whatever you've got hashing it.
Well, it shouldn't be, but it's possible. I'm just curious, if you unpack the installer, to root into the installer, and then do a bind mount, or well, just make it so that the OS is available. Actually, it doesn't matter. It's not worth the effort.
Wonder how you can test it. You have to just wait till you get HoneyComb, I guess.
Yeah, but I will. I can just test it in the installer. It's fine. I can debug it there. The main thing is that the installer. There's two main things. The first is that the flashing tool doesn't cause the installer to panic in any way. It shouldn't. I didn't think it would because it didn't on the Rock Pro 64. No. And that it does actually work. It's just some logic that's unable to detect it properly with the installer. But it's most likely just because there's some nuance in one of the tools, the versions of the tools in the installer versus the ones that are in the OS. But looking at that, the only thing would be awk or perhaps MD5 sum. But
just add them into the installer.
Oh well, that's exactly what I do. Yeah. If it makes sense, if I can get away with it, I'll add them. I'll just replace the installer versions. Right.
It's easier.
Yeah, it is. Cool. Right, Brent. That's been good. Thanks, man. I'll start buying my HoneyComb in the next week, I think.
Okay, cool.
Get it going. All right, cheers, dude. I'll see you in the next one.
Okay, later.
See you later. Bye.